is the Business Breakfast on Dubai Eye on One, on the UAE's #1 talk radio station.
Let's talk property here on the Business Breakfast this morning. Keep your messages coming in on 4001. The Property Monitor monthly market report for July 2022 has dropped, and kind to say that the COO of Property Monitor, Zhann Jochinke, has joined us live in studio to run through those numbers. Zhann, good to see you as always.
Morning, good to see you.
Thanks very much indeed for being with us. I'm liking the phrase. It caught our eye this morning. Top line of the latest monthly market report. Although the market remains strong, the froth has come off in the summer heat. What do you mean by that?
Oh yeah, that cappuccino is looking a little bit more like a flat white. We're trending towards that. So if we're looking month on month, look at our price index. It's the second monthly decline that we've experienced. That's the first time we've had 2 months consecutive sort of decline in the market since the recovery in 2020. Only the third negative month overall. So we're starting to see that price appreciation slow. And yes, it's decline, but it's a general slowing. So if we look at the 2 quarters before that, price growth's been ticking down every month. Right? And now we've just got a couple of negative declines there. What to expect going forward? I think we're going to start to see pluses and minuses sort of in that sub 1% range. That's what we're going to see in price appreciation going forward. A year from now, where are we going to sit? I wouldn't be surprised if prices sit pretty much where we are today.
So that trend, as you've seen there, because a lot of people will turn around, come on, Zhann, that's because it's the summer and no one's been here. Everyone's been in Ibiza or elsewhere. As soon as everyone gets back, we're going to see it rocket up again.
So there's 2 things to look at. There's price growth and there's transaction volumes. So transaction volumes last month also went down in July. They went down about 18, 19%. If we look historically, if we take the seasonality trend sort of mid-long term, 5-6 years, July is one of the strongest months in Q2, Q3. So on a market cycle or a cyclical basis for Dubai, the strongest part of the year is the end of the year, sort of September, October, November, December, that the market ticks up. Then it starts to taper down. And then what we normally have is this peak in July. What that normally has been driven by, people used to think it was a Ramadan effect where that was moving. It's not. It's been that when people go on vacation, they want to book their deals, that they're trying to get those deals closed before they go, and then they're booking them when they come back. So typically the beginning and end of July are the busy ones, which culminates kind of this midsummer peak. That's not there. All right. So when we look at, yes, it's come down month on month. It's one thing to say it's still 40, 50% over last year's July, but looking seasonality, July typically is high. So July coming down in transactions for me is one of the signs to start watching. Yes, June was an incredibly strong month, highest of all time. I think what we're going to see is more of that steam, that froth coming off, not just on price, but in the amount of transactions happening. And the amount of transactions, that volume, that's a key indicator. That's demand, right? That demand needs to stay strong, because what we want to watch is absorption. How much product's coming on the market and how much is going off, and make sure that's kind of in balance or in harmony.
So don't get distracted by the singular headline deals that are being done at the moment, because we're seeing records being broken when it comes to individual sales, but that's not relative to the entire...
It's not. I mean, I'm talking about Dubai on a holistic basis. We're looking at all communities, and the best way to do it is to break it down. Some outperform others. Last month, there was a 302 million dirham transaction. That's the highest of all time. That breaks the record of the highest transaction of 280 just 4 months earlier, right? And we've got plenty of those coming. It's a separate market, right? So you can't look at individual things and individual headlines. You have to look at it holistically. And we want to see multiple things trending. So a deceleration of price growth is one. Transactions starting to decline is another. And then what we want to start look for in the rental markets is if vacancy starts to change, if that vacancy rate starts to increase, or properties sit longer, or developer off-plan sales launches, the absorption isn't as fast there, or that resale market, you see properties sitting on the market longer, they're signs to start looking for a market that is starting to cool off and potentially slow down.
Another indicator we could look at is to the banks as well, and lending for financing of property. What are mortgages doing at the moment?
Yeah, like we know, rates are going up, and they're going up fast, and they're going to continue to keep going up. If you're looking at a year ago, you're probably looking at, say, a fixed 3-year loan being about 1.5 points higher. That translates to about 790 dirhams more per every million dirhams you have there. That's a pretty big jump for most, and you're going to see those numbers go higher. The volume of mortgage transactions after a big bump last month, it's back down to about 1,700 now. Our long-term average is about 1,200 to 1,300 mortgage transactions a month. Expect to see us revert back to that mean in the coming months.
The other thing we are hearing that seems to be trending at the moment is people receiving that dreaded letter from the landlord saying, thanks very much indeed for being a great tenant. I now want a squillion dirhams of rent for next year as well. What's happening with rental yields at the moment?
So rental yields are starting to go up. And look, landlords can ask whatever they want. They're still governed by what RERA allows them to get. But in general, you're seeing some go up. But to get that increase, if you're a current tenant, you've got to be under market by at least 10%. Right? And then the landlord could ask for an up to 5% increase. So overall, we're seeing yields tick up slowly. It's about 6.4% now, down from sort of the high mid-5s. So we're starting to see those tick up. Expect to see them continue to probably tick up a little bit more as the pace of selling price that slows and rents uptick. You'll see that yield increase.
That's July 2022. Still plenty to look forward to throughout the rest of this year. How much is going to change when you sit in that seat in December 2022? We're going to see a very different landscape?
So I think pricing, we're not going to see too much change on.
Right.
The makeup of what's selling and what's trading is going to change, and it already has. So in the report, we talk about registration type. So that's your title deed or your accrued transactions. And that can generally gives an overview of completed and off-plan properties. But there's some intricacies to that. It says 60-40 if you look at the numbers, but it's inaccurate. You've got a bunch of townhouses and villas that are being registered as title deeds, which people assume are complete, but they're not complete. They're actually under construction. So if we account for that and change it, it's actually about 53% in favour of off-plan. If we go back to what drove the recovery of the market, it wasn't off-plan. Off-plan really slowed. It was that completed and resale market that drove it. That's really slowing down. You hear the other brokers and people on the show, they're talking about, hey, we're not seeing that growth there anymore. Transactions are taking longer. Properties sitting on the market longer. That's going to continue to happen. And I think you're going to see there's so many off-plan launches happening right now. And if developers keep getting it right, people are going to gravitate towards that. And you're going to see it go back to the typical 60-40 in favour of off-plan and under construction.
It's a date. December the 22nd, you in that seat. Yeah, what more can you ask for Christmas, eh? Look at that.
Let's see if we get it right.
Good on you, Zhann. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning. Zhann Jochinke is the COO of Property Monitor. Latest report is out for you there.